when I was a freshman at Briggs, like way back in 2005, my friend was playing with a gun and accidentally shot me in the face. And the bullet went through right here in my cheek and down into my spine. So it paralyzed me from the shoulders down. And I've been basically paralyzed ever since then. And I've learned a lot of life lessons. And one of the main things is like finding your self-worth. Because after you become paralyzed or something, like it's like, oh, why me? Like, oh, it's the end of the world, blah, blah, blah. I can't do this anymore. I can't do that anymore. And my friend who accidentally shot me, I remember my mom came in and she was like, so they're saying we can press charges on this, and this. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to press charges. I know it was an accident, from the get-go. So that's one thing I always like to stress people, like, don't not forgive people for doing stuff because that only affects you in the long run, really. So like, yeah, through this, I learned like, there's a lot of people that look at you different ways when you're in this position, like in a wheelchair or whatever, but like, no matter what condition you're in or what you're going through, like you have to be comfortable with who you are. Like that's one thing that everyone's beautiful, everyone's awesome, everyone's unique in their own way. The unique thing about us is that we're all different. And that's what makes us all the same. We share that we're all different. So I don't know, if you don't value yourself, then you always attract people who don't value you either. Which, by the way, earlier I farted and I blamed it on my wheelchair and now we're not talking. I just, after my paralysis, like, I still acted like my goofy self. I was still like outgoing after like the first initial like stages of, oh man, why me? And people accepted me because I accepted myself that way. I just realized that people do give you like awkward looks sometimes. And like that's expected. Like if they're not used to something, they're obviously gonna give you awkward looks no matter what position you're in. But just know that that's not a reflection on you or anything. Like many people like look at themselves too and was like, oh man, I had no hope for the future. Like I had no life, this and that. People hate me or whatever. And I don't know. I always say that the people that have no hope for the future are the people that wear Michigan outfits. Those are the people that you really have to have hope for. But a lot of times you get repetitive and saying the same thing in your head, like I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, or like I didn't think I could move forward after my paralysis, but since my paralysis, I kind of drawn with my mouth. I can write with my mouth. I can type with my mouth. I've done paintings with my mouth, and not only that, I went to college, finished school, and like I never let it slow me down really, because I don't see myself as different. Like I still see myself as like normal, like everyone else. So yeah, like I said, if you say accept yourself as someone normal, then like that's how other people will view you too. There was a pastor who was talking about the power of I am, and basically it's like whatever you tell yourself, like that's what's gonna actually happen. Like I am not loved. I am so broke. My family is never gonna get out of this struggle. Blah blah blah. No, instead of doing that, say positive things like I am blessed. I am beautiful. I am awesome. I am inspired. I am on my road to like great things. The more you hear yourself say that, the more you believe that too. Like I would never listen to like negative talk, or like if people try to like diss you or anything, because like if you want to get mad at someone for talking negative on a real note, then you should look squarely in the mirror and blame what is in between your two ears, inside your head and your brain. Because most of the time, the negative talk is coming from ourselves. There's a teacher one time, he passed out blank white sheets of paper. And he said, there's nothing but a little tiny black dot on the paper. And so he said to them, I want you to explain what you're seeing. So each and every person wrote down something explaining where the dot was, or explaining that there's a black dot with a position on the paper. No one wrote down about all the white space around it when it took up 99.9% of the page. And that's how like society is. Like we focus on one little negative thing, when there's so many blessings like all around us. We don't like see the good in things because one thing like tears us down. Which I mean, it can be hard sometimes, especially growing up. Like when I was growing up, my earliest memories of us kids in a homeless shelter. So yeah, we never had a lot. And then my dad was never around. He was always in prison. Then he went to jail for beating up my mom real bad. Then he stabbed my grandpa. Then he beat my great grandpa to death and went to prison. And I was only 11 years old at that time. Then my paralysis happened, and just struggle after struggle. But like, I don't know. But during your struggles though, like it's okay to ask for help. It's also okay not to be okay, because everybody has problems. You don't have to look perfect like to everyone all the time. Like admit if something's wrong, because it feels good to get that off your chest too. Yeah, there's actually a cheesy joke that is talking about that is about refusing like help from others. So there's this guy stranded on an island, and a boat comes by. Is like, hey, jump aboard. Like, we'll save you. Like, no, God will save me. Next boat comes by, and he's like, hey, come on, we'll save you. Get off the island. Like, no, God will save me. Then this happens a couple more times. Finally, he gets impatient, starts swimming to like try to find his way back home. He drowns, goes to heaven, and he's like, God, why didn't you save me? God's like, what do you mean? I sent you 3 big boats, you dummy. And that just is about like refuse to help when it's right there in front of your face, and like not asking for it. And when it comes to asking for help, like I'm paralyzed from the shoulders down. I can't move my arms or anything. I go grocery shopping on my own. So I'll just go, and whatever person is in the aisle or something I need, I'll be like, hey, can you get that and put it in my cart or my bag? And they'll do that. And then I just go about my day. But asking for help is like, it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It takes a strong person to admit, like, hey, I can't do this, or hey, I'm struggling with this, blah, blah, blah. And but it's funny, actually, the other day, I was driving up on OSU campus because I live by there, and I drove through a spider web. And I don't know if you guys know, but every time you walk or drive through a spider web, you turn into an automatic ninja. Your body does stuff like SWAT like it never did, but mine couldn't do that. So like the only thing I had to do was ask these 2 girls, like, hey, I just drove through a spider web, it's all over my face. Can you get it off? They're all perfectly like, you want me to do what? They eventually helped me, but it was like awkward. But I still asked for help in that situation. What's the worst thing you do? Say no? Like, that's just, I don't know. I just don't get why people don't do that more often. So, but although getting shot in the face like almost killed me, it also saved my life because I was headed down the wrong road. Like I started skipping school. I started like smoking weed, hanging out with like the wrong people. Like I got into like street drugs. I owned a gun at age 14. We were just like rolling in the neighborhoods doing stupid stuff over there on the west side in the bottoms area. So yeah, and then that's when we got the gun, and then that's when my friend accidentally shot me. So, and we were high when that happened too. So that's another thing too. Like I don't know, doing like street drugs sometimes can make you do like stupid things, especially when you're young. I know right now you're at the age where like, oh, that'll never happen to me. Well, that's what I thought until I was on my floor watching blood squirt out of my face and those old scary movies that look fake. It was like spritting out. I couldn't like say a word though. I couldn't get a word out because my breathing muscles were automatically paralyzed. But I look at it as a good thing because this got me out of that lifestyle I was living. This got me to like have a new and totally different appreciation for life. And it's funny how it's funny how seeing death can make life so clear. Like it's like wow, like I could have been dead. but it's also the way you see things that helps too, like your perspective. I can sit here and be mad at God all day, like, God, well, why'd you make me paralyzed? Or I could thank him for not letting me die when I got shot in the face. Perspective is really the way you look at things and all that. That's just like the way I've been this whole time, and just trying to uplift people. My dog recently passed away. She was like a little 8-pound Yorkie poo. She was also a chick magnet. And, but like, we would go by the hospital and just like, because the hospital, OSU hospital is right across my street. So we would go by the OSU hospital and just like uplift people, talk to people, like, hey, how's it going? People that were visiting patients. Like, I understand they were going through hard times because of the hard times that I know my family was going through when I was in the hospital. But my family always leaned on me, like, to be the strong one when I needed to lean on them. And I say you should be strong no matter what situation you're in, whether you're not going through anything or you are going through anything. Be strong, positive. You are beautiful. You are loved. You are blessed. If you woke up this morning, you should thank God, because that's another day that another person don't have. You see on the news all the time, people get shot and killed, especially teens. Like, it's crazy how many teens you get shot and killed. It's like, wow, that could have easily been me. Like, I was so close to that point. And I think that's why I chose the path I did, because struggle made me stronger. You can either let it bring you down, or, learn from it, grow from it, and show your resilience and strength. And I chose to do that instead of look at everything all bitter and all that. So it got more difficult afterwards. But like, once I was out of the environment I was in, I was able to analyze like all that and look at my life from a totally different perspective. It was kind of like a wake up call. Like, wow, like, this is what real stuff that could just happen. And people, like I said, they would always be like, oh, why me? Or not why me, but oh yeah, but that would never be me. And that's what everyone thinks. Every day is a blessing. So do whatever you guys like to do. I wish I could still ride a bike. I wish I could still swim, And that's the stuff, if you like doing it, do it while you can. I used to play video games. You do that if you can. So yeah, I don't know. That's part of my drive to be independent. But like I said too, like, one of the most independent things you can do is ask for help. But you got to think about the person that's helping you too, because like I said earlier, like, when someone does help you, they feel good about themselves. So it's like a good cycle, I guess. Just, the struggle's real, but like I said, it's like this. It's like I heard something about a mouse in a tub of milk, and it kept trying to get out, not giving up. And finally it turned the milk into butter. Yeah. That's kind of how I look at things. Like, if you just don't give up, just keep going, you'll finally find like, it's not so bad. Yes, I'm free. But you gotta let go of all your animosity toward people, like your hate, because like, I don't know. If I can't imagine how my life would be if I was still mad at the kid who shot me, because that would only affect me. I would be pissed off all the time and stuff. I literally need someone to help me with everything. That's why I say you gotta learn to ask for help. Like, I had someone set up this laptop and this thing. I need people to feed me. I need people to bathe me. And, that's one thing too. Like, you don't have much privacy. I don't know. That's the least of my problems though, Someone can either get used to it or get tired of it. And I see a lot of that in a lot of people. Just like give up too. Like, and I would never, if someone told me something that they were going through, I would never try to minimize their problem. Like, well, you could have gotten shot in the face and become paralyzed. Like, everyone's struggling, It's not like your struggle's worse or their struggle's worse. Regardless of what it is, if they're struggling, help them out. Even if it means like talking to them. Everyone has their days, and everyone has their dark moments. I said on one time on my Facebook, like, yes, I do have anxiety, And yes, from time to time, I do have depression, but the difference is I don't let them things have me. Like, get out, live your life, man. Go wreck your chair or something. Live your life. Do whatever makes you happy. Really, it's good to set goals and like achievements and want to do something, but it's okay if you don't. Like, who was it that was quoted? He said, uh, when I was in kindergarten, I think it was like a rock or so. He was like, when I was in kindergarten, my teacher asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I wrote down happy. She said I didn't understand the assignment, and I said she didn't understand life. Yeah. So like, yeah, do what makes you happy. Really, um, try to make a difference. Help other people from time to time. Um, ask for help if you need help. Um, don't be don't be ashamed of who you are. Really. I imagine if I like looked down on myself because I was in a wheelchair, like no one would ever gravitate toward me. I'd just be like a down guy. It's like depressed and like, you know, like oh, it's just another sad dude. But I guess people gravitate toward me because I do try to be positive with everything. And yeah, it's all you can do, really. Like we all have our days though. Like, and I don't want to ever compare my situation to others because the struggle was real for everybody. When I was 15, I was like, I'm gonna be in a chair. I'm gonna be the fastest one you guys have. Yeah. And there was one time I was on a ventilator 24/7 still. So I had to train to the ventilator and they got me up in a chair for the first time. And when they got me up in it, I was just like, freedom on wheels. The respiratory therapist like running, trying to keep up with me. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, yay. Actually, it was from that moment on that I started looking at things differently. Like the family problem drama and like anxiety and stuff like that. Like you're not the only one, and you need like if something's really bothering you, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay not to be okay because no one is okay all the time. We all struggle.